Good evening. It's a story that's topped our news all week long, and still tonight, many find it hard to believe. A string of murders that has sent a chill from Milwaukee right across the nation. Tonight, a new turn. A scandal over a botched chance to stop the killer months ago. And tonight, 3 Milwaukee police officers are paying the price. Suspended for ignoring a call for help. So far, 10 of the killer's victims have been identified. Another 7 are still to come. Also tonight, suspect Jeff Dahmer's father is breaking his silence about his son's crimes.
We begin with the scandal. Charges that police in Milwaukee missed a chance to stop the killing spree 2 months ago. And as Channel 2's Jay Levine tells us, if they had, 6 of the victims may still be alive today. Jay?
Linda, the suspension of 3 police officers for failing to recognize what amounted to a murder in progress has not satisfied people here. For some, it's too little, too late. For others, including rank-and-file police officers, it's simply searching for scapegoats. Jeffrey Dahmer's former neighbors are enraged. Tonight, they're charging police with neglecting their low-income, high-crime neighborhood and ignoring the cries for help from a victim who briefly escaped the killer's grasp, whose Laotian family escaped the terrorist regime in Southeast Asia, only to see a child fall victim to another form of terrorism here.
We saw him running naked, running down the street, staggering like, and we saw the rage in his eyes that he didn't want to be by that guy, Jeff Dahmer.
He had tried to flee down this alley next to Dahmer's apartment. Police, responding to calls from neighbors, questioned witnesses, the victim, and Dahmer himself, but concluded, according to those witnesses, that it was simply a lover's quarrel. Hours later, 14-year-old Kamarak Sintasamphon was dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is no doubt that I am taken aback by this information.
But police rank and file are also angry.
Well, there's a serious concern that these officers were not afforded due process rights, and if the chief is willing to buckle to the media and political pressure and make these officers scapegoats, one has to question whether our membership has any confidence in this chief at all.
Dahmer's ability to talk his way out of close calls with police was not limited to a single case, and may rest in part with his choice of victims. This alleged victim, who we spoke with earlier this week, went to the police 3 years ago.
There's no reason for all those people to die. There's no reason at all. All they had to do was look at him a little closer.
If that had been a black man chasing a white boy, do you not think that the cops would have been all over the place?
As of tonight, the families of 10 of Dahmer's victims have received the terrible news.
I'm scarred for life, man. I'm scarred for life. This bastard chopped up my baby brother, man.
Tonight, authorities say they have evidence of another murder, a 12th committed in another state. They won't say where, but many believe that Dahmer ultimately will be tried not only here in Wisconsin, which does not have the death penalty, but also somewhere else that does. Live in Milwaukee, I'm Jay Levine, Channel 2 News. Bill, Linda?
Thank you, Jay. Confessed killer Jeff Dahmer tonight is alone with his conscience in a Milwaukee jail cell. But eyes are on him all the time, making sure the man accused of murdering so many doesn't take his own life. And we now know more about how he's spending his time behind bars.
This is where Jeffrey Dahmer sits and waits, the county jail in Milwaukee. The details of his confinement are being kept secret, but we've learned that he is being held in an 8-foot by 14-foot individual cell. It contains nothing but a bed, a toilet, a sink, and a light. Dahmer is on round-the-clock suicide watch. An officer stands guard just outside his cell. If he wants to, he can exercise every day, but only in the presence of a guard, and he may have no contact with any other inmate. He's had few visitors, but one is a forensic psychologist hired by Dahmer's lawyers to get a read on his mental state. Another is one of his attorneys. Her impression is of a young man genuinely anguished.
I get the impression that it's someone who is kind of woken up from a dream, thought it was a dream, woke up the next morning and decided, hey, wait a second, it wasn't a dream at all, and I wish that it would have been.
Dahmer's lawyers have indicated that he will probably plead insanity.
Dahmer's trail of death may extend to California. Tonight, police in Fresno are checking to see if Dahmer can be linked to a human foot. found in a field there 4 months ago. Dahmer's mother now lives there, and police say he may have gone to Fresno to visit her last year. Tonight, Jeffrey Dahmer's father says he's sorry for what his son has done. A man identifying himself as Lionel Dahmer called a Milwaukee TV talk show today, saying he will stand behind his son despite the horrible crimes he is charged with.
I will say that I love him. I did not realize just how sick he was. I realized that he is mentally ill, but I did not know the extent. And I will, as I always have, stand by him in my thoughts and prayers.
Lionel Dahmer is a chemist living in Ohio and says he is praying for the people his son allegedly murdered. A different side of Dahmer is emerging tonight from a woman he dated earlier this year. The woman tells us they went out for movies and drinks, and he seemed like a normal guy. She asked not to be identified.
He never acted funny. He never did anything stupid. He was perfectly fine to me, you know. He treated me great, you know. I don't know, he treated me like one of the guys, you know, and it was kind of nice, you know. I never thought he would do something like that.
But there was one strange part. During their dates, the woman says Dahmer expressed a strong dislike for homosexuals. As we reported, Mr. Dahmer spent a lot of time in Chicago, and tonight we have new information about his connection to our city. Dahmer was a member of a gay bathhouse on North Clark Street called Man's Country, Chicago. The owner says Dahmer was never a problem there ever since he joined the club in July of 1987. Here is Dahmer's membership card and his signature. If he hadn't caused any trouble, it would have been noted on the card, and he would have been kicked out of the club immediately.
Police say many of Dahmer's victims were loners, people who lived and died on the edge of society. Tonight, Channel 2's Elaine Tack spent time on that side of town, a side we don't often see. Elaine?
Well, behind me is Clark Street. This is the area Jeffrey Dahmer allegedly hung out in, an area where he eventually picked up some of his victims. Tonight, a rare glimpse at the people who live on the streets here, people who could become victims themselves, people who say life is so tough here that not even the threat of a killer phases them. The corner of Belmont and Clark is a magnet for a mixed bag of people. They come here to hang out together. They never know who they're going to meet. For Rico Martinez, not knowing who he's going to meet is always a threat. The next person he runs into, he says, could easily molest him or slit his throat.
Of a suburban Kenilworth woman, the body of 46-year-old Diane Davis was found yesterday by her son in their home.
An Ohio sheriff says a 1978 murder in that state may have been Jeffrey Dahmer's first. Authorities say the suspected mass murderer has now confessed to killing and dismembering a 19-year-old man at his parents' home. Paul Meinke joins us with the day's developments in this case. Paul?
Jim and Sylvia, police are now saying they have little doubt that Jeffrey Dahmer committed his first murder 13 years ago. Why he took the life of a young hitchhiker in Ohio is unknown, but police say that Dahmer revealed details to them that only the killer could know. Jeffrey Dahmer was 18, not long out of high school, living with his father and stepmother in their Bath Township, Ohio home, which is just north of Akron. Police say that Dahmer has told them that he picked up 19-year-old Stephen Mark Hicks, who was hitchhiking to a rock concert, and brought him to his house. The two drank some beer, but when Hicks tried to leave, Dahmer attacked him.
Jeffrey picked up a barbell and struck him in the backside of the head. He later then strangled him with the same barbell and then took him to a location where the body was dismembered, and then later, several days later, took the body parts and disposed of them.
The current owner of the Dahmer house unearthed a bone while doing some landscaping last year. He called police last week when the Milwaukee murders made the news. And in a 3-hour interview yesterday, investigators say Dahmer calmly confessed to the murder, even drew a map of where the remains could be found. Police will start digging Tuesday. At the same time, Dahmer is trying to dismiss speculation that he could be connected with other unsolved murders as far away as Germany. In a statement released by his attorney, Dahmer says, "I have not committed any such crimes anywhere in the world other than this state, except I've admitted an incident in Ohio. I've been totally cooperative and would have admitted other crimes if I did them. I did not. Hopefully, this will serve to put rumors to rest." But the reality of those grisly murders were on the minds of worshipers in Milwaukee's churches today. That and anger over charges that laziness and racial insensitivity kept police from stopping Dahmer much earlier. From the pulpit today, there were pleas for unity.
When tragedy strikes anyone, anywhere, it strikes us also.
We need unity, not disunity. We need togetherness, not hostility. We need to act as a community, not disintegrate into feuding camps. We need, Lord, your loving help.
While Milwaukee tries to heal its wounds, police there and in numerous other cities, Chicago included, are reviewing some select unsolved murders to see if they hold any conceivable links to Dahmer. Investigators now know when the killing began and when it ended, but there are many years in between open to question despite Dahmer's assurance that he's already confessed to it all.